In my eyes, the presence of faith is enough to rid the feeling of any fear that has presence in your life. And today's Sunday Reset is all about choosing faith over your fear. Now, I understand this is a disclaimer because I'm actually clip this. This is a disclaimer because I completely understand that this can be completely hard for some people. I mean, some of us are in situations where it is so hard to see the light. It's so hard to see the faith. It's so hard to really see the bright side of things at the end of the day. And I understand that. And I understand that this video does not resonate with you because of that. But I do believe that choosing faith over fear in every aspect of life always has a bright side, always has something else on the other side of whatever hardship that you're going through. And that's why I love this mentality. And it's not even a mentality, really. It's a lifestyle of choosing faith over fear. Now, if this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Stephanie. I am a travel, lifestyle, and personal development content creator, and I create content so that people and women around the world can grow, glow, and go all around the world to be the best versions of themselves in every single lifetime in whatever that they're doing. And I have created a Sunday Reset series so that we can bring topics that have been heavily on my mind and on my heart to light just one day out the week in an unedited, unfiltered video where we just really get to talk. Like, we just talk, you and me, straight camera and mic, and no music, no editing, no nothing. So this is definitely very raw and unfiltered, and recorded the same day as well. So if you're watching this on the same day, happy Sunday, and I hope you've had a blessed Sunday so far. I know this Sunday Reset is a little bit later than the other ones. It's definitely been a day. So I appreciate you for tuning in. If you are tuning in same day, but if this is, you're tuning in during the week, I hope you're having a great week. And like I said, today we're talking about choosing faith over fear. Now, as always, I do have my handy dandy notes that I will be referencing. So if I do look away, I'm just referencing my notes so that way I can stay on track, because Lord knows I love to ramble. So I needed to have something that keeps me point A, point B, point C, so that I can get you guys in and get you guys out, because I know y'all not trying to be here all day. But I appreciate you for tuning in either way. And I would love to know in the comments how this topic has resonated with you now, mid-video, later in the video, whatever. But let's go ahead and get to it. So, like I said, the presence of faith is enough for me to get rid of the presence of any fear in any situation that I've had in my life, and more as of recently, because I do believe recently, as of not, I've been getting more in establishing my faith and more of a follower in my faith, if that makes sense, and a leader as well, of course. Even videos like this, I feel it has established me as a leader. But when it comes to listening and being obedient, that has me as a follower. So I feel like before we even get into this topic, we need to establish what is a fear-based mindset. And I think for me, I was living so long in a fear-based mindset, and I feel like it's very synonymous with like a scarcity mindset, in my opinion, especially depending on how you're raised, what situation you are raised in, and everybody comes from different backgrounds. And so some people might resonate, some people might not, but to really harp on what a fear-based mindset is, that is when you are focused on survival mode. Your focus is strictly on survival and avoiding pain, right? So that's that discomfort, the rejection, the failure, right? That's not what you want. So you do anything to avoid that. And sometimes that means you stay in situations a little bit longer than you need to, because you don't want to be on the other side of that, or you don't want to know what it's like to get to the other side of that, because you don't know what that's going to be like. That causes you discomfort. Maybe you'll have to either reject somebody or face rejection to get to the other side, and you don't want to know what that's like. And worst of all, you might have to fail in order to get to the other side, and you definitely don't want to know what that's like. A lot of us have a fear of failure, and I can understand that. I'm overcoming that. I feel like I have overcome my fear of failure, especially like when you work in sales. Like, failure is just like, or rejection, should I say, It's just like whatever. And then failure for me, like especially as someone who has started their own business and is working on that business, failure is just part of the game. And failure is great because it lets you know, okay, this is not the path, but there's another one for you. So with that, the second point is you have a more avoidant versus action-oriented behavior. So this kind of goes into the last point that we were saying, like with the fear of discomfort, the fear of rejection. You don't really want to know what that's like, so you avoid it. You don't even go into the action-oriented mindset because you don't want to know, you don't want to have the possibility of you having to face rejection or have to face failure. So you don't even put your foot out there. You don't even put yourself out there to know what that's like. You also want a sense of control and certainty, which I understand. Some of us are control freaks. Oh my gosh. And I consider myself a control freak for so long. And I mean, to an extent, I do like to have some control, but I understand at the end of the day, that's not up to me. I have no control. I think I have control. We think we have control, but we really have no control. And having that fear-based mindset of needing to have control over everything, needing to be so certain that this is the next step. Before you even take the next step, you need to know this is point A, point B, all the way to Z, that this is how it's going to go. When in reality, you have no control over that at all. And you resist change because you have that false sense of safety where you currently are. And I say false sense because it is a false sense of safety. You think that you're safe, but really it's keeping you safe because you are not putting yourself on the other side of what could be even better. But you don't want to know because that's going to cause discomfort. And lastly, you're paralyzed by the what ifs. Okay, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if I'm not able to do this? What if I can't do this? And all of that is a fear-based mindset. And I think I broke it down into 3 steps today. Yeah, I did break it down into 3 steps. And we're going to get into that in a second. But those what ifs are so paralyzing. And I get it. I really understand. Trust me. I used to be the what if queen. And the first step is acknowledging your fear-based mindset. And I have a video, it was a little bit earlier in the year, of the victim mentality. And that was the first step there as well, acknowledging that you have that victim mentality and not acknowledging the fact that you identify yourself as a victim in all these situations. You have identified that you have at least one of the 4 of those traits in multiple situations. Maybe you are the what if warrior. What if you are maybe a what if warrior? Maybe you are a person who definitely thinks that they are safe where they are, but they know deep down that they're not, but they have that false sense of safety because they're comfortable. Maybe that resonated with you. And as long as you have one of those 4, you should really evaluate whether or not you are operating in a fear-based mindset rather than an abundant mindset or a empowered mindset. There's multiple names for them, but to be honest, they all kind of fall under the same umbrella. And you need to call yourself out every single time, literally. As soon as you're like, I'm scared to go to the gym, or I'm scared to bake this dish. And this is random examples. Ask yourself, why? Why are you scared? Okay. Maybe it's like, I don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to notice me. Why? Why don't you want people to notice you? Well, because I don't, You have to keep asking yourself, why? 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 Get to the root of the issue. Because as soon as you get to the root of the issue, you can really attack what the issue is. You can really get to why you feel like that. And when you get to why you feel like that, that unlocks so much. That really opens up the doors to a lot of things for you. So definitely asking yourself, why? Okay, but why? Okay, I know I feel like that, but why? And ask yourself why at least 5 times. If you don't ask yourself at least 5 times, you haven't gotten to the root of the issue. If you're asking yourself why 2 times, you're still on the surface level. And write it down too. Like literally get a sheet of paper and just write it down. Okay, why? Arrow, why? Keep going. Keep it going until you feel like you've gotten to the sole root of the cause. And there you can address and move on to the next step. And the next step is trust the process. Trust the process. For me, I really felt like, or I really feel like everything in life happens for a reason. I don't think that anything, there's some things that are like serendipitous. There's some things that may feel like coincidences, but I don't really think anything is truly a coincidence. I think that things happen for a reason. They're placed into your life for a reason. People come into your life for a reason. People leave for a reason. And you have to trust that God is working miracles in your life, even when you cannot see them, even when you are in the roots and the thick of it all, and you just don't see the other side. You don't see the miracles. You just are getting hit after hit after hit. And you're just like, I don't know what this is for. You have to trust. This is where the trust comes into place. You have to trust that there is something on the other side for you that is worth all of the sacrifice for. And I definitely felt that in my own life. And hindsight is always 2020. Hindsight is always 2020. I want you to know that right now. Like, repeat after me. Hindsight is 2020. Okay? Because you are never going to understand why you had to go through certain scenarios and certain instances and certain things in your life until you were on the other side of it. Until you get older and you look back and you're like, I'm so glad that I did that. I'm so glad that I went through that. I might have hated it in the moment, but it taught me so much, not only about myself, but about the world around me, about the people around me, about who God is and how he's going to come through every single time. But he needed to teach me a lesson first. And that's what it's all about. It's about the lessons. And that's what the process is. It's like really learning the lessons and getting to the root of that and trusting that because I'm going through this now, something greater has to be on the other side for me. And I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep putting my faith in that until I get to that other side. So like I said, I don't believe that nothing happens for no reason. I think everything truly does happen for a reason. And in order to really believe that, you need to trust the process. You need to get every single lesson out of everything that you're doing right now. Even if you're at a job that you completely hate, what can you learn? What can you learn about yourself? What can you learn about the business? What can you learn about the people? What can you learn about the job that you're doing that is going to help you in the next phase of life that you're looking to enter? Because he already knows what you want to do. If you are strong and firm and you've established your plans and you know exactly what you want to do next, he knows too. Best believe that. He's the one who put it in your head, right? But he's like, no, you still have something to learn in this space. You still have something that you need to gather in this space about yourself, about the people around you, about your actual job, whatever that might be, before I can move you to the next step, right? And then the last part, you have to lean into that faith. You have to lean into that faith. And I can understand, like I said, I can understand that this is hard, especially when there's like instances where you just really can't see a bright side. I know some of us are going through a lot of things right now. The world is definitely an insane place right now. And I know other countries might be looking at us like, what in the world they got going on over there? And it's not even just America. It's just the entire world in general. So I can understand, like, it's hard. It's really hard to have true faith in times like this. But like I said, everything is happening for a reason. And it's designed to teach us something. And it's designed to have us be more compassionate to one another, in my opinion. And, like these videos are like, take what you want, leave the rest. But you really do have to lean into that faith that things are going to work out for you. You have to be obedient. You have to listen. And this is the main point. You need to listen. For me, I feel like, we get signs all the time. And it's funny because I went through a period in my life where I would pray for something and God would send me signs and I'd be like, okay, well, can you send me another sign just so I could be sure? It's like you want that double certainty, but it's like, no, he doesn't need to show you double certainty. He doesn't owe you that. He gave you a sign already. And that was him overextending himself for real. But you need to listen. I needed to listen. Instead, I was like, I'm just going to wait for the next sign. I need to wait for the da-da-da-da. And the longer I wait, the longer I delayed my blessings. Plural. Because it's blessings on the other side for you as soon as you lean into that faith and get rid of that fear. Okay? So listen. And listening, how do you listen? A lot of people, I understand. That was a valid question that I had as well. I was like, wait, so how do I listen? Like, when do I know that, I'm being talked to, or he's talking to me besides prayer and things like that? There's dreams, but the strongest thing for me was intuition. We all have intuition. Some of us is stronger than others, but that's the key right there, is strengthening that intuition. And it's small things, right? Like listening to your intuition on just like how you feel that day, or what you're going to eat that morning, or what kind of coffee you want to drink. It literally doesn't matter, but just like listening to yourself with the smallest things is going to help you trust yourself and trust the source when those big things do come about. And I'm pointing to my stomach. You can't see me right now because that is where your intuition is located. They call it your second gut. There's research on that. I think I mentioned it in another video too, but I want you to do your own research on that because we don't have time to get into that in today's video, but look into it. Your intuition is your second gut. And you feel it in your stomach sometimes. Like you might be out somewhere, you might be doing something, and something happens and you're like, oh, I don't have a good feeling about this. Like, I don't really feel that well about this, da-da-da-da. Listen to that. That is a sign, like that's something or someone speaking to you. And you need to listen to that. You need to strengthen that, because once you strengthen that, you get more connected to source, universe, God, whatever you believe in, because they're trying to tell you something and you need to listen, because on the other side of that is something much greater for you that you could have never imagined. Trust me, never imagined. Okay. So with all that said, referring to my notes, sorry. When you realize the miracles that God is working in your life, when you realize that, when you finally step onto the other side of fear and go to faith, that's why they say faith over fear, because you have to choose faith every single time over that fear that can be so compelling. Trust me, that fear is so compelling. It's so easy to lean into that. But when you realize the miracles that God is working in your life, that's enough to let go of any fear of the unknown that you thought that you might have had. Because once you realize that He is working wonders in your life, once you get the lessons and you're obedient, you're listening, and you just pay attention, and you take that step to step out on faith, and you realize and you see all of the blessings that just start to unfold. And I am literally a walking testimony. Trust and believe I am a walking testimony of that, stepping out on faith. There's been a recent point in my life where I literally stepped out on faith, and I just had to trust that God had my back. It's like doing a trust fall and just like hoping that somebody catches you. It's literally like that. But not only do they catch you, they pick you up and they do like a little spinny thing, and you're just laughing and having the time of your life because you're like, why was I ever even scared? That is literally what having faith over fear looks like. And trust me when I tell you, having fear is real. That is a real thing, and it can be all consuming, but you cannot let it consume you, because as soon as you let it consume you, guess who won? Not you, sis. Not you, friend. Not you. And I need you to win every single time, and I need you to win with God right there by your side, with the universe right there by your side, with source right there by your side, whatever you believe in, okay? So choose faith over fear every single time. And that is something that has completely resonated with me recently. From like August till now, I have been choosing faith over fear, and it has been working wonders in my life. And I promise you that is exactly why I brought you today's video, because I wanted you to know that you need to choose faith, because there are miracles being worked on in the background for you, but you have to be willing to receive them. Okay. So that is what I have for you. Oh, it's a limousine. I love limousines. They're like my favorite. I don't know why. I know they're outdated now, but Anyway, this is all I have for you today. I appreciate you for tuning into today's video. Please do me a favor if you watched this far. I am on the road to 600 subscribers. So if you could do me a favor and hit that red button down below to subscribe, because I'm at like 596 right now and I would love to be at 600, okay? I love you so much. And if you also like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, because that is going to suggest to the algorithm that this is a good video for others to watch as well. Now, don't forget to tune in to the next Sunday reset on next Sunday. And I love you so much. Choose faith, my love. You have this. You've got this. If you need help, comment. Let me know how this resonated with you. Pray about it. Do what you got to do, okay? But I love you so, so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.